And I think we are underway.
Yes, it says recording. So, yeah.
Awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Andy Larson, and I transform my own life with superior nutrition. And I'm here with Rich Hubbard today.
Yeah, hello, everybody.
Hey, Rich, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. What's the weather like in Connecticut today?
It's cold. We just had a little bit of snow last night. We're getting more snow Sunday night. So we had plenty of snow
Yep.
here.
Same in Minnesota.
I'm sure you guys get a lot of snow there.
We do. But you get a lot as well. So I don't know. I guess it's not a contest, but
Yeah.
we're both probably pretty tired of winter, but at this point.
Can't wait for spring. I'm counting down already.
Yeah. But it's March, so one more good month and then we will be into the clear, I'm hoping.
Exactly. Yeah. We all are up here too.
Yeah. So you worked out today?
Yes. Yeah, I did the Stairmaster for 20 minutes, and I did some leg exercises, strength training.
Excellent.
Yeah, I try to work out 5 days a week if I.
Okay. So you have a gym membership?
A couple actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. One's
Wow.
close to where I work, and one's close to my home. So
Okay.
it's wherever I am, I guess.
Do you have a pretty far commute to work?
I do. It's like 40 to 45 minutes.
Okay. Well, then you got one. Sounds like you have a good plan for that.
Yeah, exactly. And
Sounds like
I
it's worth it to you.
times by using the gym after work, so it works out good.
That's great. Good. So I wanted to have you on today because you obviously have an incredible story, an excellent health transformation, and we are like almost the same age.
Yeah, almost the same journey with the weight loss.
I know, and we both started doing this in 2012.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, it's a great match for us to get to know one another. So that's awesome. Well, I just wanted to talk today about what you did to lose your weight and change your life. And I think that you know, I think a lot of people look at the success that you and I have had, for example, and they just go, "Oh, that's amazing," but I could never do that.
Exactly. Yeah, I get a lot of that, but I always tell people if I can do it, they can do it too.
Yeah,
It's not a magic pill. Anybody could do it if they put their minds to it.
absolutely. So let's just tell the people the mind-blowing number of your weight loss to start off with, because I know that really gets people's attention.
Yes, it was 150 pounds overall. Um, I started over 350 pounds, and I stopped weighing myself when the scales read 345. So it's a couple of years until I took control of my life. So it's way over. I don't know how high it really was, but I know it's over 350.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to see the number get higher and higher, even though I didn't take control of my life yet. Just
right.
somehow 350 get further.
Yeah. I wonder how high some of those scales even go too.
That was the other issue. I'm glad you mentioned that. At the Y I was using, the scale stopped at 350. That was another reason I stopped using it, because what's the point? It's not going to be accurate anyway. So
Yeah. I was just saying recently that I remember when my wife first told me to get on the scale, and let's see the damage. Let's see what the number is, because we both knew I was getting pretty big, and our scale, I still could register on our scale, but my belly was so big I couldn't see over it to even read the number. So she had to read to me what it was.
Yeah, the one I had the numbers on top, so I didn't have the same problem. But I would have that problem if I had to look down. uh,
Yeah.
Talking
We
about
just have the bathroom scale, but you're saying you had the one where you push the thing over and
yes,
yeah, it balances.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
got it.
So what was
Yeah,
your weight when you did that? Do you remember?
I was 290.
Wow, and you're 5'8", right? I think you said.
Yeah, I'm only 5'8", so
Yeah, that's the same kind of proportion as me.
yeah. So you were telling me we talked before, and you were saying that it was well. You want to tell us about the blood pressure?
Yeah, I didn't have a physical in years. I avoided the doctor. I just diabetes runs in my family, and I didn't want to hear the direction I was headed. For some reason, I just thought if I didn't hear it, um, things would be all right, I guess. So finally, and I'm so grateful for this, the state of Connecticut. I work for a local community college in part of the state. They required physicals for our insurance. If we
Mm-hmm.
didn't do physicals, we'd have to pay a much higher premium. So I thought, well, I'm finally going to face my fear and go to the doctor. Um, Before the doctor's appointment, I I started to eat healthier. What I thought was healthier then, and but still, there was a lot of damage by the time I saw the doctor in January 2012, and he confirmed I was morbidly obese. Which that term scared me. Yeah, I always knew I was big, but to hear those words, it just sounds so serious and dramatic. Morbidly obese.
Yeah.
That was a wake up call. And then he told me I was pre-hypertensive, and yeah, that scared me as well because he told me my blood pressure didn't go down by the next appointment. He would put me on meds. So by the next appointment, my blood pressure was still up. It was probably like 140 or 150 over 100.
Uh-huh.
And he says, well, I'm going to put you on meds. So I picked up the prescription with side effects. Thought to myself, no way. Yeah, I'm too young for this. I don't want to go through this.
How
So
old were you?
what was that?
How old were you?
Yeah, about 39. So, it was too young for this, in my opinion. Besides,
Yes.
I was thinking of my parents, my stepmom too. They're all on meds, and it's like a lifelong thing with them. I didn't want to go down that same path.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to do research online. I knew I could lower the blood pressure on my own. And I also had high cholesterol, but he wasn't as worried about that. He was more concerned about the blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, High cholesterol too. I knew what kind of path I was going down. My blood sugar wasn't as high as it probably was before the physical because I started eating healthier. But
Uh-huh.
so I was most likely pre-diabetic too. And
Yep.
all these conditions, just it hit me. I got to do something. So that's when I called the doctor and said, I'd rather try to lose the weight before I take any meds.
Mm-hmm.
What surprised me was he agreed. He says if that's what I want to try, then he'll give me 6 months to try it, and we'll go from there. So I started my journey after that second appointment, after picking up my pills, and I never looked back. I feel better than ever. Um, and probably about I'd say March or April 2012. I don't remember the time period, but that's when I first learned Dr. Furman. He was on an episode of Dr. Oz that I happened to catch, and he was talking about G-Bon, and that really changed my life. I've eaten his foods. G-Bons, for those who don't know, is greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. And even though I've transformed my diet toward healthy and I always ate the G bombs. That's what I'm trying to say. Ever since 2012, even though I've expanded my eating, the G bombs are still my basic food each and every day. So
Yep.
Dr. Furman, I have his book here. It was autographed by him.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm jealous.
yeah, I met him a few years ago. He's a great guy. And
Awesome.
I told him how if it weren't for him, I don't know where I'd be today.
Yeah. Did he appreciate hearing that?
He did. He was doing a speech. This is in New York City, and after the speech, he acknowledged me, told me to stand up, and told my success story to the group, and
Really?
quite a thing. Yeah, I have pictures on my Facebook account with him.
I'll have to check those out.
Yeah, yeah.
That must have been such a thrill for you.
Oh, it was. It was a big honor.
He's a big hero of mine.
Yeah, yeah, me too. I mean, he's helped thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
So it was his work that really got my journey going, I think. Because in that first year, just by eating those healthy foods, I didn't cut out all the bad foods yet. I severely limited the processed foods. And I eliminated aspartame. That was a big thing that year because I was a big soda drinker and
Mm-hmm.
hearing how bad aspartame was. And so that was one of the first things to go. And then I
Yep.
gave red meat like a month or two later. And just over the course of the year, first year especially, I gave up a lot of the bad food.
Uh-huh.
By December of that year, I had lost the first 120 of my 150 pounds. And
So you lost 120 pounds in the first year
yeah,
by eating Joel Furman's food, and
well,
you hadn't even gotten rid of all the bad stuff. You just were mostly eating
well,
well.
I figure I was probably 70% plant-based at that time.
So, okay.
And I was exercising like a maniac too. um,
Okay.
I still do cardio now, but I was doing those foods give you so much energy. I was doing an hour on the treadmill, at a time, like 5, 6 days a week, and it was just melting off.
Wow.
But the thing is, I probably went too fast because I ended up with loose skin, which I'll talk about after.
Okay.
Yeah, I was healthier than ever anyway, despite the loose skin by December. And the doctor was really very impressed. He couldn't believe I did it. He told me he was going to tell all his patients about what I did. And so I even helped the doctor realize because, he offered medication first, but in a way I taught him that you know, lifestyle changes can work. And he saw it with me.
So what was it about them being offered medication that turned you off? Like, why did you not want to?
Well, the big thing for me, I was thinking of my parents, and especially my dad is on one med, and then he'll take another to cover the side effects of that med, and the list goes on and on. And
Mm-hmm.
he has COPD and all these chronic problems. He can't sleep, so he has to take sleeping pills, and the sleeping pills don't work anymore. And I just constantly, and even today, hear stories about medications. My stepmom too was them. She's on a ton of meds. Neither of them can sleep. We get colds often. Uh, this was even back in 2012 too, and I just didn't want to go down that road. Um, I
Yep.
just I just want to stay healthy. And when I heard that I have to be on meds, that just was a wake up call of the direction I was heading.
Yep.
And I really just didn't want to go down that path. And
So you so
what's that?
you kind of knew that if you started on the meds, it was probably going to be for the rest of your life.
Yes, and my mom, when I had told her, because she's a nurse, I figured I'd tell her about that. And her words to me were, "Well, everybody's on something," which kind of further drove me down the path, because I always wanted to prove people wrong, I guess. So her attitude that everybody's on something just pushed me even farther, I guess.
I think that's a very similar trait that I'm seeing in people who are sort of emerging from our society of like everybody's overweight now. Like 80% of
Yeah,
people are overweight.
right.
It's the norm now. And that's one of the characteristics I'm finding that we all have in common as people like you and me, that we're sort of rebels in a way. We sort of just kind of we don't want to do we don't want to do it like everybody else does.
Exactly. And the thing is,
You know?
being plant-based, that's very extreme in most people's minds. So, of course, we're rebelling in a way because we're rebelling against the bad foods that are so prevalent in our society. And
Great
if
point.
your lifestyle changes, you have to rebel. Because I eat
Definitely.
around me at work. Nobody's eating clean. We're kind of freaks in a way to a lot of people, but I don't,
Yeah.
because it's working for me. People could see the weight loss I did, and you know it doesn't bother me that people think is so extreme.
Right. Have you been at your same job this whole time since 2012?
Actually, I started in 2011, and I remember my first day. I'm kind of glad you brought that up because my first interview there, they had these stairs, and it was only one flight, but it was like 30 steps. And I remember climbing those stairs and thinking, "Oh my God, I'm so out of breath just going up one flight of stairs." And so at the start of the interview, here I am out of breath, in my 30s, and just like,
Mm-hmm.
just doing the flight of stairs. So
Yeah.
it was wrong there. I mean, I didn't change at that point, but that was another wake up call. And
Yeah.
and I think my job, because I'm a webmaster, I do a,
Okay.
I do a lot of sitting, and
Mm-hmm.
so even today. But the difference between today and back then, I make sure I wear the Apple Watch, and that reminds me every hour to get up. So I always make sure to move around and
Yeah.
I exercise often. So if I remember sitting at my desk 7, 8 years ago, and when I would stand, my legs would be so stiff they wouldn't want to move. I had neuropathy in my feet, which is why I think I was pre-diabetic. Because my
Wow.
feet, I had the tingling sensation in my feet, and
Yeah.
it was really a mess at that time. And
Yeah.
so I'm grateful for any wake-up call I had to make the change.
Well, it sounds like you had a number of signs that you thankfully paid attention to.
Yes, but it took some time to do it. I don't know if it's the same
Yeah.
way. Was it a slow transition or? Because for me, I mean, I did lose 120 in a year, but even before that, I knew things were wrong. But you know, I'm just, yeah, it was fast in some ways, but slow in others.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you had a really rapid first year.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
I did mine much more gradually than you. Like it took me 5 years to lose the amount of weight you lost. So
Yeah, which I remember telling you in our conversation before. I think that your way is actually a much better way because you ended up with less loose skin. Um,
yeah.
yeah, for me, yeah, my arms are a lot better now. Thank God. The muscles helped
Uh-huh.
and building up my chest, but
Yeah.
my belly never came back. I tried, lots of sit-ups. They don't work if you have skin.
Yeah. Yep. You just had too much skin, so
Yeah, and so
but you took care of that. So
yeah, the thing is, I'm grateful for that in a way because what I did for the next few years after 2012, it was all about eating cleaner and cleaner, trying to find out ways to tighten my skin, and my research next couple of years led me to Robert Cheek, a vegan bodybuilder. I think I told you about him previously. This is
You mentioned him.
called Shred It.
Okay.
If I'm sure I would have eventually been vegan anyway, but it was his book that really got me to become vegan at the time I did.
Okay.
Yeah, September 6, 2016. That was my cutoff date of eating any animal products. And that
Okay.
was Robert Cheek had a 13-week challenge with one of his workout journals. It wasn't officially a challenge, but he had a journal that lasted 13 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try this for 13 weeks. I did vegan for weeks at a time, different times. With
Mm-hmm.
those last 4 years, and I always felt pretty good when I did them. So I
Yeah.
thought weeks, that's nothing. So while I'm doing the 13 weeks, I realized that I had more energy than I ever had in my life. Felt better. I felt like I was in my 20s again. And by the end of the challenge, I didn't want to go back, and I never did. And,
That's great.
my compassion grew, and I also became a vegan as well. It's hard to watch those videos online and not become vegan as well. So
Yeah.
um, I do credit Robert Cheek for becoming completely plant based, but I've had personal trainers prior to going on plant based, and one personal trainer in particular, he was telling me to have 200 grams of protein a day, and you know, I tried it, the whey protein, and I'm so
Yeah.
grateful that my stomach, because I was eating so healthy those years, it
Yeah.
reduced the whey protein. So I did my own thing. I still was heavy on protein, which I didn't need to be. I still got plant-based proteins, but uh,
Right.
my doctor, he retired. The first doctor I had from 2012, and my
Mm-hmm.
doctor, this wasn't on purpose. He just happened to be mostly plant-based.
Yep.
He said, um, I told him how my trainer wanted me on 200 grams of protein. He freaked out when he heard that and said,
Yeah.
200 grams, I'm going to damage my liver and kidneys. He had already checked my lab work, and he said, thankfully, I didn't do any damage yet. But he said if I kept
Oof.
the protein amount, that it wouldn't be good. So that's when I did my research, stumbled upon Robert Cheek, and saw he was eating whole food, plant based, building
Right.
huge muscles. And so I thought, this is ridiculous. Why do I have to listen to a personal trainer when they don't know much about nutrition? They're like some doctors too. A lot of doctors don't know about nutrition. So here I'm listening.
Exactly.
Somebody that just thinks he's telling me the right thing, and it definitely wasn't. And so
Yeah.
I told my trainer what my doctor said. He even wanted me to continue. He says, "Well, do you mind not listening to your doctor? It's really the best way to build muscle." So I kind of dropped him after that, and did my own
Yeah.
thing, building muscle better than when I had my trainer.
Yeah. Yep. So now you're your own trainer.
Exactly. I did get certified back in 2014 as well. I didn't keep up with the certification, but I have trained a few other people. So but my passion really is nutrition. I'd rather be a nutritional coach anyway.
Yep. That's my passion too.
Yeah, it's important to get that message out there, and
Yep.
we can change lives.
For sure. I just wanted to go back to the protein thing for a second. I've been thinking a lot about that, and man, if you follow Joel Furman or any plant-based doctor, they
Right.
will tell you you don't need that much protein, and you're gonna get all the protein you need. There's no such thing as a protein deficiency
Exactly.
in somebody who is eating adequate calories of any food.
Yep.
And
And
by any food, I mean any good food.
exactly. And even the junk food has protein. Not that I advise people to eat that, but I mean everything
Right.
has protein, even in very small amounts, but everything does. So it all adds up, and
Yes.
protein should be isolated the way it is. Every commercial you see on TV, every ad you see about food, the big thing they'll advertise is like 30 grams of protein in this or whatever. And the
Good
body
source of
can't look
protein.
time. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just crazy. And people are buying into that, those ads, I think.
Yep.
And
I think that, obviously the meat industry and, whatever, there's been a concerted effort to teach us since childhood that you need to drink milk, you need to get plenty of protein or you're just going to wither up and die.
exactly.
And now carbs are bad.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a crazy world. Yeah. Yeah.
It's just so messed up. So,
It drives me crazy. I'll hear people working out at the gym and they'll be talking about their low carb diet. And I think to myself, don't they realize that carbs give you energy, the healthy carbs? And it's just insane how backwards it is.
it's crazy. And they're working out and they could use some carbs
And
because
they,
that's what
yes. Yeah.
oh,
And
so
when you talked about Furman, the plant-based doctors talking about protein, I did read in his books about the protein, but for some reason I kind of ignored it because what my trainer was telling me at the time, and I'm
mhm,
for the doctor I had, the new doctor I got in 2016, because that he just reinforced what Dr. Furman said. I don't need that much protein. You're right. All the plant-based doctors advise against too much protein, and with good reason.
right.
Yeah.
And it's not like plant food is not deficient. It's not like they're protecting this food because they're biased. This food really does have a lot of protein. Like I hear people say the craziest things like like I'll peruse the different nutrition pages on Facebook every once in a while, just kind of
Yeah.
monitor like people are talking about.
Yeah.
And I think somebody said something about the other day. Somebody made a comment about oatmeal and don't you think I should have a protein? And I was like, oatmeal has protein.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like people think that unless you eat steak, you're not getting protein. So
Well, so many times if
broccoli
you're
has protein, so
and so many times if you're at a restaurant, you order a salad or something, they'll say, "What protein do you want with it?" And I read so many
yes.
friends on Facebook, they'll say the same thing that you know they just don't get it.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was thinking the same thing. Would you like a protein? Garth Davis, who wrote the
Oh,
Proteinaholic?
alcoholic, yeah, yeah,
I remember he had a rant one day, and it was so funny. He was at a rest, and he's a doctor, and he's an expert on nutrition.
yeah.
And he was at a. Did you hear him say this? This was a long time
But
ago. He
maybe I,
said, well, either way, he had a waitress say to him, would you like a protein? And he was like, what do you mean? And he was being facetious, but he said, well, like, do you want chicken? And he was like, oh, chicken? Actually, the highest amount of macronutrients in chicken is fat. So what you're really offering me is, would you like some fat with my salad? No, thank you. And I don't know, he tried to be, and I guess his wife was like, oh, just let it go.
yeah.
But I
I'll
thought that was a really funny,
I like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
this chicken has a lot of fat in it. But at any rate, I like to just be another voice talking about this so that when people watch this video, they think about it because we've just had it beaten into our heads that protein is just so. I think probably there was a time, well, before food was so abundant that people were malnourished.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
like
Sure.
before World War II, and so that might have been a concern that people weren't getting enough food to eat, but that was the problem, not protein. It
Right.
was they weren't getting enough food. So anyway, I just wanted to touch on that. So
Definitely. And that thing with milk and calcium, that's still a big thing for especially older people. Like my dad, he was mentioning a while ago how he has osteoporosis, and he thinks
mhm.
it's because he didn't drink enough milk as a kid. And actually, it's the opposite of what he thought. So I'm trying to tell him that, but some people I don't think you could just they'll never believe it because that's what they were brought up thinking.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep,
Uh,
that's another one is calcium in milk. Um so anyway, so you were telling me about, let's see. So you met Furman, you ate the G bombs, you lost 120 pounds your first year, you had the loose skin.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, let me, if you don't mind, I'll mention about my tummy tuck, my abdominoplasty,
sure.
because that was part of my journey. Trying to fight this loose skin, and it helped me eat cleaner and cleaner over the years. Um, so I am grateful for the loose skin that way. But seeing that skin on my belly, and I'm a runner, and hearing it swish around is really kind of embarrassing to mention it. But yeah, just I couldn't stand the noise from the belly, and I knew that people could see the skin sometimes underneath when if my shirt was right up. So I finally made the choice to have an abdominoplasty, tummy tuck, and
Uh-huh.
it was a very difficult choice because I've never had surgery except for my tonsils out when I was like 5 years old.
Yep.
But I promised myself after 5 years it was still there, so I didn't rush into it, that I would do the procedure. So
Mm-hmm.
like probably 5 or 6 consultations because I want to make sure I found the right doctor to do this. And I believe I did because he did a great job. And still, the swelling can last up to a year, so I'm still slightly swollen there, but
Okay.
it's definitely getting there. And one benefit, I don't hear that swishing sound anymore when I run. So
That's
um,
nice.
yeah, and I don't know if I how much weight the skin was, but he showed me a picture. It was a pretty big amount. There. But,
Yeah.
and one thing I'm grateful for, it kind of settled down everywhere else. I didn't end up with the turkey neck, or my arms have settled down, and it's just basically the belly because I think that it just grew and grew so much that it was impossible to bounce back. It's probably like pregnant women who can't bounce back after they have so many babies. It's just stretched and that's it. So
Yep. That's what it's like.
yeah,
I had a big, enormous pregnant lady belly myself. So,
yeah,
but well, that's good. I'm glad it. Because yeah, I was gonna say you look good. You look trim. You don't. Your face is tight.
yeah. I'm very
You know.
happy with how I bounced back, and I do credit the healthy eating as well, and just taking care of my body. 'Cause,
Mm-hmm.
I do think well, I know eat a lot cleaner than everybody else I know around here. probably,
Yeah.
probably be a contest with you, but because I'm sure you eat probably just as clean as I do. But other people around me, it's just. But I don't mind. I don't mind being different because I know it's keeping me healthy. And uh,
Mm-hmm.
as we age, like there's bodybuilders in their 70s and 80s that I aspire to be like. I don't ever intend to give up. I want to keep my energy. I want to keep my mind going. By being plant based, I
Yep.
think I have the option of staying healthy.
That's awesome. Yep. So you're gonna do this for the rest of your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't.
Yeah.
The tummy tuck was really a nail in the coffin for my obesity. I figured it's the only surgery I ever planned on ever having. I tell people this. I don't ever plan to. I was down that road of heart disease probably if I stayed the way I was, and you know, to me, that's a much more extreme surgery, having somebody work open in the chest to take care of the heart. Um, this is the only surgery I ever had, and I'm happy staying trim for the rest of my life.
For sure. There is no shame in that. I do not blame you. I think I would have done the exact same thing if I was in your shoes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, it helps with my goals too. As I aspire to be more of a bodybuilder, and as I run in marathons too, with my best too. And that's another thing. I set goals, which I think is important too, as people lose weight. I'm very goal oriented.
Uh-huh.
That's why these, I did week-long vegan challenges since 2012. Every once in a while, I do those. I did wellness challenges, and now
Mm-hmm.
I'm planning my half marathon, which I've never done before, and I'm looking forward to it. But I found that I love running, and I did 10K last year. I did a 5K a few years before, and I think it's time finally for a half marathon. So I think goals
Wow.
and never stop having goals.
And how old are you?
I'm 44.
44. Okay. So I just want to acknowledge that when people hit their 40s, most people in our population, they start to go, okay, I'm getting old now.
Exactly.
Starting
I
to get sore when I get out of bed. They act like it's just a natural thing that comes along with aging is, oh, my body's starting to wear out now finally. And it's like,
don't look at
here
my friend.
you are, you're going to run you're just getting started with life.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like I'm in my 20s. I feel like nothing can stop me. And I have friends who say exactly what you're talking about, or they'll have arthritis or different pains, and I don't have any of that. Or they're getting frequent colds. It just it really is about good nutrition. And,
I was just going to mention one other quick thing too, and that is this is the age where people start to get on high blood pressure,
yep.
cholesterol. And is it just me, or when you go to the doctor and they ask you, like if you go to a different doctor or something and they ask you what medications you're on, they ask that question. And
Oh,
then I say no.
yeah.
And then is it just me, or do they kind of seem surprised when you say that?
I always get that, always, every time. And then sometimes the nurse will laugh, when they're going through the series of questions. Do you have hypertension? Do you have this problem or that problem? Every answer is a no, and the nurse will laugh and say, "You're making this too easy." They just can't believe it. And yeah, I'm glad you said that. In our age group,
Yeah,
nobody can believe how good we can feel.
exactly. So I love it. I mean, and when you say, I want people to really hear this. When you say you feel like you're in your 20s, you really do.
Yeah,
Like you're
exactly.
not just saying that. You're not exaggerating.
Well, how many 40-year-olds do you know that go to the gym 5 times a week? I'm working out hard too, and I'm doing weights each time I'm there, and running on the treadmill. How many 40 somethings are doing that and beyond? I mean, I know some, but I mean, the general population, that's probably start to slow down. You're right, and
Definitely.
they just do believe what society tells them, that time to go on meds.
Exactly. I was just telling somebody recently that I have nowhere near the talent for athletics that the people I'm about to mention. I don't want to even associate myself with them.
Right.
But you remember, so I'm in Minnesota. So remember when Brett Favre played for the Vikings? I don't know if you watch football.
Some, yeah, yeah, I know of them. Yep.
And he was 40. And every time he came on TV, and I probably was just really acutely aware because I'm always watching the Vikings, and
Right.
um, they would always go. here's because they want to put you on Sunday Night Football or the big game, of the week, and the announcers would always go, he's 40 years old. Can you believe he's still playing?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then now, and I think he played a couple years.
Yeah.
And now Tom Brady
Yeah.
is I think he's like a year younger than me. I'm 43, and he has no sign of stopping.
Yeah, he's good, I believe. Yeah.
And that's probably your team, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's
Out there in Connecticut.
Yeah, and he's mostly vegan. I think he certain times of the year I've heard he eats mostly vegan. I believe he sells vegan foods too. I might be wrong, but yeah,
Okay.
that just goes to show you right there that healthy eating can extend their careers too.
Exactly. Like I said, I'm not saying I could get out there and throw a football more than 20 yards, but I can see with somebody as talented as him, like how it's no big deal.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to go out and run, what is it, 13, 14 miles for
Yeah,
a half marathon?
yeah, 13 miles. Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem.
No, no. I
Yep.
mean,
And you'll probably do that into your 60s, 70s, who knows how far.
exactly. And I
80s.
Yeah, and I'm part of a run club online, the Missing Chins Run Club. This
Nice.
group of runners, I don't know if you've heard of them, that they all lost a lot of weight. Um, these are men my age and older. They're runners in their 60s in this group. We all encourage each other to get out and run. They're all plant-based. They all transform their lives like I did, and we all motivate each other to run. And it's great to be a part of that. You keep motivating you. That's the hat I'm wearing too.
Oh, that's so cool. Say the name of it again.
Missing Chin's Run Club.
Awesome. And these guys have all had a transformation.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's one guy who just wrote a book called Sick to Fit, Josh Lajani, and
Okay.
he's done ultra marathons, I believe, and he's an amazing runner. And he was 400 pounds and got down to, I don't know what, he lost over 200 pounds, I believe. So
Yeah.
there's amazing stories, and it's good to be in this group of people with similar ideas.
That's so cool. Is this just in Connecticut or is this
Oh no,
nationwide?
nationwide.
So people can, wherever they are, can sign up for something like this?
Well, you have to be added to the group. It's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
a private group, but then once you're in, you're in. uh, but yeah, it's great to be with like-minded people, and that's what got me into running. I always liked to run.
Mm-hmm.
After I lost the weight, not before I lost the weight, but and I think we figured out why we like to run because we can now, because we never could when we were heavy. And now that we're able to, it just feels good to be able to move.
I know. I feel, and I am not running anywhere near what you do. Like I do like 2.5 miles at a time, but I never ran unless I was running to catch the bus
Exactly. And
before this.
when I would do that, I'd be so out of breath too doing.
Unless there was an emergency.
Exactly.
It was like a fire alarm or something. That was the only time you catch me running.
And the thing is,
Um,
in college, I love to walk everywhere. Um, that's the thing. In society, a lot of us have desk jobs. So when I left college, I wasn't doing much moving around, and it's unfortunate that the more successful you are, sometimes with desk jobs, the unhealthier you can be unless you uh, get up and move like I do now. But it's
right.
unfortunate way to have desk jobs because a lot of
I
people are
know.
there all day like I used to do.
So I like your thing where you get up every hour and at least stand up and kind of move around.
Yeah, and this watch that I wear, a lot of people use it just to make calls even, which I haven't done yet. But
Mm-hmm.
but I got this because it's helped me get healthier. Um, it's a good motivator because they have 3 rings on the Apple Watch. I'm familiar with it, but it has an exercise goal, a move goal, and stand goal. I've reached
Okay.
all 3 goals. Since I got the watch, I reached all 3 goals every day until my surgery. And then
Uh-huh.
after my surgery, I had to limit my movement for a week. But once I started again after the surgery, I've never missed the 12. Um, you have to stand for every hour for 12 hours, a minimum of the minute. You have to exercise and move enough times.
Okay.
So I've gotten my 3 rings ever since then too. And I just, that motivates me every day. I don't want to ever skip those, getting those 3 rings.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, these devices can help you as long as you don't, get obsessed with the other things. And it could also be a bad thing too if you're focusing too much on, certain apps that time. But if you
Right.
motivate you, it's a great tool.
That's great. That's a great idea for people to try. So you have the Apple Watch.
Yes, I mean
Oh,
they probably all work the same way. I mean,
okay.
I'm researching all the watches all the time. You could probably get a Fitbit that does the same thing as well.
Yeah, sure. They don't have to go all out on a watch. They could get a Fitbit.
Exactly. And the other thing
Okay.
I'd like to touch on, because I'm curious for you too, when I was first losing the weight, I used a tool called MyFitnessPal uh,
Uh-huh.
keep track of my calories. I no longer keep track of my calories anymore. I gave that up because I realized it's ridiculous. I'm eating the same healthy foods every day. I mean, it's variety, but it's probably the same calories. So I gave
Yes.
that up. But I'm wondering, did you use some kind of way to track your calories at first too?
I did. I got on Weight Watchers. I did the online program
Hmm.
for like my first year and a half. And it was good because it taught me how to write down what I everything I ate, and so I at least knew what I was eating and
Right.
the amounts and everything. And it got me. It actually was a. It was good in the sense that it to this day it's sort of I have it ingrained in my mind that I could tell you exactly what I've eaten today to the
Yeah.
tablespoon of pumpkin seeds that I had. You know what I mean? Like I'm very aware of, even
Very.
though I don't need to worry about that anymore, like you say, because who cares? The more you eat, the better. You
Yeah.
know, it's the anti-Weight Watchers diet that we're
Exactly.
doing. You
Yeah.
know,
I am
but
conscious of what I eat, but I don't deny myself. If I'm hungry, I don't have any problems with it. I think those tools are great in the beginning, though. But
yep,
it got to be an obsession, and
yeah,
more like, oh, time to enter my calories. But what am I doing this
I
for?
know.
And
Yeah,
when you reach that point, I think you have it. You have your diet down to a science, and you know exactly what you're doing. You don't need those tools anymore.
hmm,
It's like training,
yep,
I guess.
yeah. Can I ask you? I also want to just mention. So you work out a lot. So the food that you eat to help you with like recovery and performance
Oh, you were kind of breaking up there. I'm sorry.
oh, no problem. I was just going to say the food that you eat, so you work out really hard. So the
Yes,
food that you eat, that's got to help you with recovery and performance,
it does.
etc.
It does. So many bodybuilders out here who complain about their aches and pains, and I don't have that. I recover fast. I know if I did a good workout, but the pain is not something that lingers. It's not, you know, a bad pain. I used to have a lot more muscle aches prior to going plant-based. Uh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's just a great feeling. to know that I could work out. Can you hold on 1 second? My phone is running out of juice.
Sure. Got to plug it in.
I'll get 1 second.
Okay. So I'm just going to wait here while Rich gets reconnected. Hopefully he comes back in a second here. He sounds like he's just going to be plugging in his device, which is running low on battery. Okay, so I think I lost him. So I'm going to see if I can get... Oh, are you back?
Yeah, hold on. Let me plug in my phone.
Okay, all right. I didn't lose you, so we can keep this all in one segment. I was hoping for that. I still haven't mastered the... all right, I can see something. I still haven't mastered the editing the video. I just do it all in one shot, so... There you are. You're back.
Right.
You're plugged in. I can see you. All right.
With the foods I eat now.
I didn't catch that last part, Rich.
Protein shakes. Oh, they
Okay.
have their protein shakes at the gym.
Yes, the guys at the gym.
Are you hearing me okay?
Yep, I'm hearing you.
Okay, yeah. Other people have their protein. Yeah, and instead, I had kale or different foods. It adds up to enough protein for me. It seems to be working.
Right.
And not overloading my body with protein.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are focusing. Here we go again. Just they can't stop focusing about protein.
Right.
Yeah, you're kind of breaking up there.
Okay. Yeah, you were coming across this kind of really slow. The audio was like really slow.
Okay. Well, this is better for me now. Are you hearing me better now?
Yep, it's better for me too.
Okay, great.
Well, at any rate, so they're drinking their protein shakes and not a really smart idea.
No. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel a lot better than probably some of these 20 and 30-year-olds from what their complaints that I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm just I enjoy eating healthy before and after the gym, and I make sure I have a big salad too. Courtesy of Dr. Furman. I always have.
Yeah, I know.
Out of the gym.
Yeah.
I think that helps me recover faster.
Yeah. So you're lifting weights, you're running, and you're feeling pretty good from this food.
Definitely. Yeah. Today, for example, working up the sweat on the stair mat. I have it on level 12, which is be fast through the stairs, and building up a pretty good sweat for 20 minutes before I go to the weights. I'm doing squats and leg presses, and I'm able to do these things without
That's really great. So, Rich, we're coming up on an hour here, and I think we're gonna wrap it up shortly. Um, what are you eating? Do you? Oh, I know. Are you preparing a lot of your own food, right, or all of
Yeah.
your own food now?
Well, most of it. I mean, if I go to a restaurant, order a salad or something, or I go to Whole Foods, I'll pick up something there. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's all about pre-planning. Um, I'll make salads for the next day, and for me, it's so easy. And I don't fuss. I just chop up the veggies I need, and it's quick. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just I buy enough food for the salad. It doesn't have
Great.
to be complicated, I think. And I'm also
That's great.
I'm very simple about my dressings too. I know Dr. Furman has a few delicious dressings. I've tried them sometimes, but I don't have time for blending up a dressing. So I'll just use basic vinegar, a white balsamic vinegar, and I find that works.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough flavor.
Any seeds or nuts in there ever?
Definitely. Pumpkin seeds, I'm a big fan of. They have like 9 grams of protein per serving, and sunflower seeds. I know they say nuts can make you fat, but if it does, I have yet to see it 'cause I eat a lot of nuts. Yeah, walnuts. I have peanut butter, but there's no salt or sugar added. Almond butter, no salt or sugar. Pistachios.
Okay.
I mean, I limit the amounts, but I don't. I certainly don't think I'm going to get fat with nuts. And the seeds that give you
Yeah,
protein, I definitely highly recommend those for food.
for sure. If you're eating pure 100% plant-based, I think nuts and seeds are vital.
I do too. I do too.
I
And
don't know how you could do it without them.
yeah, and you need the calorie dense foods too, which the nuts provides. So I
For
think
sure.
there's a reason to eat them. And also, I have ground flax seeds and chia seeds in the morning with my oatmeal, and sometimes
Nice.
my smoothies as well. And that's another good protein source is flax and chia seeds. We really get
Yeah,
protein in almost all the food sources we get.
definitely. Awesome. And what about beans?
Oh yeah, I do try to eat beans every day. Either beans or lentils is my favorite. As far as beans go, I found that black beans are my favorite. But I like all beans, but I think favorites.
Uh,
And garbanzo beans, chickpeas, I love those. I'll sometimes add them to the salad. I think you have to have beans. Well, this is part of Dr. Furman's plant
for sure.
growth, the fiber, and that's what people in this country are low on is fiber.
Yes. That's perfect that you said that.
Yeah,
Because I think about that all the time. I don't think I'm the first person who came up with this, but I always like to say, where do you get your fiber?
that I do say that back to people who say, "Where do you get your protein?" And that makes them think a little bit. And nobody's
Yeah,
talking, but you need it way more than. I mean, you're not protein deficient. You're probably deficient in fiber, so eat some fiber.
exactly. Well, that's a great note to leave things on. Thank you for taking the time to tell me all about what you've been doing and your
Well,
great new life, and it's so wonderful.
yeah, I'm always happy to share because I think, like I said before, if I can do it, I think anybody can do it.
That's so
I hope
great.
to inspire others as well.
Yes, I think people are going to watch this and really, I think this is going to be a good one. So, I think a lot of people are gonna get some some more inspiration and motivation. People just need some good examples of people that have done it before them, and then they know they can do it too. So
And I'll tag you on that photo with Dr. Furman and I, if you want to include it with the video, or post it on your page. It was fun meeting him, and he was a great inspiration to me and to you and to a lot of people. So
awesome. Thanks.
okay, it was great talking to you, and I had a lot of fun doing the interview.
Good. Me too. Well, we'll talk again. So we're going to be friends now. So
And maybe I'll talk to you after the half marathon too. That's in a couple months. Let you know
that
how
would be awesome to tell us how it went.
Yeah, that's June 2nd is my marathon, half marathon.
That's really exciting. Congratulations on all the success.
Oh, thank you so much. And
All right.
good work you're doing as well.
Thank you. All
Okay.
right.
Yep.
Talk to you soon.
Yep.
Bye, Rich.